I've been going to prison for 38 years because my mother and father are both in prison.
4 minutes of gunfire, one Philadelphia policeman killed, and it was over. The members of the Back to Nature group move had been routed from their house.
The judge sentenced each to 30 to 100 years in jail.
That's my mama.
When she was arrested, she was almost due to give birth to me. When she did give birth, it was in a prison cell.
So this would have been her cell?
Yeah.
This was a counterculture Philadelphia hadn't seen before.
The MOVE organization experienced so much hate and anger from the system.
It was a situation that everybody knew was going to explode. It was only a matter of time.
It's one of the few things I've seen that I'm never going to forget.
Rather than have a racist dictate our lives, we'd rather be dead. Because to be free is not to be so-called living on this level. It's to be free of the oppressive power of a maniac like Rizzo.
I'm Sari Cohen with Hollywood First Look Features, and I'm honored to be sitting here today with Tommy Oliver and Mike Africa Jr. from 40 Years, a Prisoner. You two, tell me how this partnership started.
It started at a cafe in West Philly. I was actually there. Somebody introduced me to Ramona Africa, and she brought him along, and I was there to meet her, and I was like, who is this guy? And it turned into a really lovely friendship. He's just such a good guy, and I learned so much more about MOVE that day, and about this guy who, despite all of what he went through, didn't have a shred of bitterness, and he's invited his parents home. And to me, that was such a beautiful thing, and it sparked a friendship and a relationship that here we are 4 years later, and we've been on this journey together.
Now, Mike, can you explain to viewers what went down in Philadelphia in 1978 on that day and what MOVE is?
The MOVE organization is pretty much a predominantly Black organization founded by John Africa. Our mission is to encourage people to protect life, people, animals, and the environment. And in protecting life, we protested against unsafe boarding homes for the elderly. We protested against police brutality, the unethical treatment of animals, and against environmental disastrous type of industries. And as a result of that, we were targeted by the police because they wanted to stop us from interfering with the money flow of their business bosses. It led to the point where the police sieged MOVE's house and arrested a bunch of the members in the organization. During that time, an officer was killed in a shootout, and MOVE people were blamed for that killing, and two of those people were my parents.
Watching this all and seeing you reunite with your parents after 40 years, can you explain a little bit what that was like? And Tommy, what it was like for you to capture that moment on film?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was euphoric. I mean, it was, you always know that there's a possibility that they could come home, but you also know that there's a real possibility that they may never come home. So for us to actually achieve that goal and actually get them home, and knowing that a lot of other people don't make it home. Some of the other members of that group did not make it home. So, it was a really, really amazing moment that we're still cherishing today.
It was the sort of thing that, it was a lot, and it was really emotional, and I was torn between, I'd gotten to know them pretty well at that point, and I'd seen them in prison for years. And Mike and I had made the 7+ hour trip back and forth to see his mom in Cambridge Springs a number of times. And I was happy. I was happy for Mike. I was happy for them. And I sort of had to remind myself to keep the camera up because I just wanted to take it in. I just wanted to just sort of be there and see the happiness on their face. But then I remember that I've got to make sure I can capture it so I can share that happiness with others. And so that we can make sure that this, which doesn't happen nearly as much as it should, that we can actually all live in that and take a little bit of hope, a little bit of, for just the one day that we realize that it's possible. And then we go back to work because there's so many more people who haven't had that experience and who still need to.
Just amazing what you guys did. I cannot wait for the world to see it. Everybody, make sure you check out 40 Years a Prisoner on HBO and HBO Max. I'm Sari Cohen. See you next time.
They were so aggressive and so angry. Nobody sided with them.
Get that death penalty back, put him in the electric chair, and I'll pull the switch.
This was the moved house.
It was demolished, so there was no evidence.
When I learned that they were actually in prison, I might have been 13 years older. I started looking for something that would show their innocence. I wound up doing that for over 25 years.
The Move 9 have been up for parole for the last 10 years.
The denial of parole is violating their constitutional rights.
What can I say about it? What can I do about that? Except just keep on pushing.
Handcuffs keep tightening like eyes that a bright light is in. Every time I fight, the reason I fight is to not fight again. Every time I fight, the reason I fight is to not fight again. Every time I fight, the reason I fight is to not fight again.